Another dark log from the diary of a griever named John Weaver, which is me. They didn't kill the zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Yeah. It's still the 6th of June, coming up on the 7th in about 20 some odd minutes. It's about 11:30ish. Monday's coming up, and it's going to be fun. Listening, or actually watching all these spectacles on YouTube concerning about our gas bag president. The main thing that happened, 5 o'clock in the morning, my time, and replayed for the Pacific watching on Meet the Press. Donald J. Trump finally got onto an interview section on Virginia or somewhere. And the one who's doing the Meet the Press, I keep forgetting what her name is. Top, talented, tough, and she wasn't taking any guff. And she was just going digging into him. Been about an hour of an interview. But after the interview, it's like, right, he had enough. She kept poking holes in his crap that he kept throwing out. He said he was going to stop wars, and he starts wars. He said he was going to be lowering prices. He didn't. He raised prices. He did the opposite end of everything he promised, including pardoning people that should not have been pardoned. And talking about things out of his ass concerning about his ballroom, about the conspiracy theories, blaming, and she kept going further. He's getting tired. He's getting angry. Why is he here? Why is he sitting here doing this thing? He used to like talking to the press a lot. In the first campaign on Old Gas Baghdad, he was talking to the press a lot during the campaigns. And as soon as he gets the spot for the presidency, he attacks media left and right. These are the guys who are supposed to be propping him up. He likes media to a point, as long as they get his quote-unquote good side. But he keeps showing the bad side of him. He lies like a dog, and they keep catching him on it, and he hates them for it. Basically, he hates them, but he doesn't hate himself. But he's not willing to say it or admit it or even follow it. He's just a pain in the fucking ass. And he's telling people this. In his own way, his own inimitable way, he's telling people what he's doing. And he still wants a peace, but he's causing war. Israel goaded the United States. Israel wanted a war with Iran. They only needed it with a patsy. Well, they got the old gas bag in there. And Trump's willing to do it. But he's trying to get peace. Either he's still thinking about the peace prize or else he's thinking about something else. I don't know. Maybe he's thinking about his damn ballroom he can't get the funding for. Or the trillions that he was supposed to be getting and keep getting denied by Congress. Fucking greedy bastard. So, we don't know about the reconstruction situation for the East Wing of the White House. We do know that the stage is set for a cage match. Outside the White House. It's all set. But the problem is, you built the place, but nobody's coming to it. He wants to hold a concert series, but nobody's going to play for him. Everybody ditched. He spent millions of dollars of getting a cage situation going on outside White House, but nobody's going to play. The 14th is coming up, which is going to be next Sunday. And he's got to have some kind of axe or something like that to show to the public, whoever's going to be showing up. There's no wrestling. The UFC athletes, shall I call them, are not showing up. They are not. And he's pissed. Nobody likes old Trump face, I wonder. Oh, he lied and shit. Eugene is thought. And he was called on it many times in the interview, and he got sick and tired, and he was really starting to attack the interviewer. She wasn't going to give him any ground. He gets sick and tired. He takes the stuff up. He puts it on the goes on the ground. He's going to stomp on the damn microphone and walk out. But the most inappropriate thing he did was touched her on the shoulder as he left. He insults the lady. He insults everybody in media. And then in the final insult, he touches her on the shoulder as he's leaving. Well, that became fodder all damn day long. The independents are chewing on this damn thing left and right. It's bad enough Congress was doing other shit that was screwing over people left and right. I'm seeing different videos. I don't know what time of day, if it was actually like taking a day or not. Congress trying to be, or the White House still trying to be part faith and part not. And the White House websites that they took down a lot of, actually I think it was Department of Justice. It used to be over 100 listings of people's beliefs and faiths. Whittled down to maybe about 50 or less. Because they still want Christian. They still want to be a Christian nation. Quote-unquote faith leaders out there still want this place to be Christian. There was an interview somewhere, I'm still trying to search it down, where the Senate of Graham, I'm not talking about Lindsey Graham, no, I'm talking about, fuck. I'll get the name right when it's here. There's Frank Graham? No, that's not him. And anyway, I'm seeing all these things about evangelicals are going after the Democrats for one reason or another, that they're not Christian, that they're not of faith, and how dare they? And I'm thinking to myself, schmucks, where the hell have you been? When it comes down for the party differences between Republican and Democrat, they're really different between ideology. Democrats had not been showing, at least not in my knowledge and research about it, that they are of true faith and they're talking about it all the time. They're not. They're talking about policies. They're talking about things that could be improved in the country. They're not holding on to values except for progressive. And the Republican Party, shit, they want more. They love it. Can't have enough of it. They were talking about peace. They're talking about law enforcement that they obey, and yet they throw meat into the law enforcement area to get them killed. And then they start supporting that. See, I can't figure out what it is with these old farts and the generation after them regarding the Republican Party. There were accusations I was hearing and watching in certain clips from different places, including Fox. And I can't remember which ones. I gotta go through my history, YouTube history on this one, because they were talking about, well, the Democrats were lousy in 1860 and Lincoln's time. I'm thinking, you assholes, you don't even remember like history? Or else you remember it, but you're not quoting it correctly. If anybody studied American history, we had something called Dixiecrats. Um, we had the Democrats, but they were plantation owners. The Republicans were supposed to have been the Progressive Party. They were the ones that wanted to build a nation up. The Dixiecrats wanted things the way they were. They were mostly agricultural. They didn't like progress all that much. They didn't like technology all that much. They wanted to keep their empires, their little fiefdoms, their little communities the way they were. But we had expansive Republicans who loved the republic of the country. They were for the republic. They wanted to expand the republic. That's why they called themselves Republicans. And they expanded. They were the opposite of what we have right now. They were our Democratic version as progressives, but with the term of Republicans because they're for the republic. Patriotic and progressive. They want expansive. Somehow, we were showing more right after Civil War that the Democrats, the Dixiecrats they call them, were getting more and more radical, more into the hate groups. There was a change somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. But when it came down for nearly the turn of the century from the 1800s and 1900s, the parties were switching their viewpoints. The Democrats were now the progressives, and the Republican parties were just the conservatives. And they kept on that viewpoint from the turn of the century, from 1800s to 1900s, all the way through now. Yes, the Democrats in name, back in the 1800s and 1700s, they were the plantations. They were the small towns. They were some of the larger communities, but had their own things. They even liked slavery. But even the Republicans didn't like slavery all that much. They were trying to quote for freedom, having free states where they didn't have slaves of any sort. It wasn't a pure radical. It wasn't a pure time. And then the things that get me confused enough, which I probably would have to go back through courses again on this, is this: yes, when we had colonial ships coming from various colonies trying to make a living, some from Germany, some from France, Spain. I'm not quite sure about Spain, but Ireland, Scotland, England. They had their own little issues, right? They had their own little cliques and things going on. Pennsylvania, the territory of Pennsylvania, became more Germantown. The ones up north for the northern territories, also English, British, Scottish. Well, they had their issues. I guess nobody else likes Scottish or Irish. But they all came from various sources. And as I understood about the English versions, the colonists coming out, they too had their own versions of what worshiping Christ was all about. Some were strict, very strict. Others weren't. Maybe some of the pastors these days, or getting aged in these days, wanted our country to be just like them a long time ago. Except men were ruling everything and the women were subservient. They were supposed to be submissive. Didn't work out that way, did it? The women were fighting like crazy to get independence. have their votes registered. In the late 1800s, they were working on it. They were working on it. In the 1900s, were struggling like crazy. Even black women were having issues with it. But they were all struggling for civil rights for each other. The more I kept learning about history online elsewhere in the classes, I'm amazed how far our country had gone through and would they have been able to deal with tycoons? I mean, serious tycoons that wanted to rule the world one way or another, as the ones we've got right now. So I know that the tycoons had threw in everything that they had when it came down for the stock markets, when the world was starting to trade. Right after a war that happened, they were still trading like mad. Everyone was trying to live the good life, and yet we had a war in Europe. And then after the war in Europe, the Roaring Twenties, where everything was hunky-dory for those who actually put money into futures and stocks and living off the dividends. But not really making a damn dime for themselves, are they? Well, except in paper. Some people actually pretended to be living on a hog. The Great Gatsby, does that ever ring a bell? I heard about it so many times in my lifetime, just never saw the movie or read the book until I did. Guy, a con man who was showing the world a good time. He was broken and shit. He had champagne flowing like crazy. I think somewhere in that, nearly at the end of the story, guy got shot to death. For one reason or another. But just the Roaring Twenties, and then all of a sudden, something burst. Something burst. The numbers weren't adding up. Everything was wrong. The fortunes that people made on paper, non-existent. The banks got run on. People couldn't deal with it. Couldn't deal with their life changing that drastically. And you thought it was a fallacy concerning about people hiding money under their mattresses. The only way to keep it saved. Because the banks held on to every damn dime they could. I'm wondering if we're going to be running into that kind of same situation over here. Having a world, it was not the United States, it was affecting everybody. This thing was, at one time, I still can't understand what the hell was the trigger. But we lost a lot of money in 1929, when this year the stock market tumbled and crashed, and everybody who put money into it, just not enough. Let me try that again. It wasn't just only the Americans; it was other countries that put it in there too. And the world economic stability just went to hell in a handbasket. It's like $1 isn't worth $1 anymore. It's worth about 2 cents, almost like toilet paper. Scary times, and I thought it was the only time we had a crash, but no, I kept learning that we actually had a few other crashes happening in between the 1700 and 1900. Somewhere in there we had, I don't know, several. But the biggest one was 1929. And it was still the billionaires who were still screwing around left and right. And which reminds me of what they're doing right now, is screwing things up left and right. They want a lot of money. They don't want to play like Gatsby. But the problem is, if it's all on paper and it's not actual currency, what the hell do you got? Promissory notes that don't mean shit. That's what's happening. And I'm afraid that we're going to be getting into that kind of situation with this Iran shit going on all the time with the Strait of Hormuz, where we can't just get the ships in and out without getting mined or blown apart, where we got the Middle East being firing at each other. Israel wants to be the biggest tough kid. They're picking on Hezbollah, they're picking on Lebanon, they're picking on Iran. And still yelling at the United States to give them more because we need. And everybody on both sides are getting their asses kicked and killed. I kept saying we're getting into a World War III. We're getting into it. Russia is still having issues with Ukraine. Can't pull itself out of it. It has to keep borrowing and promising to get the materials necessary to see if they'll still get Ukraine to reconsider about joining Russia. No, Ukraine's saying fuck you. And Putin's not taking no for an answer. He attacks UN countries. He attacks NATO countries. Trump had this thing concerning about nuclear weapons in Iran, and Iran promised a long time ago, after careful negotiations, took him years, with expert negotiators, to not pursue nuclear weapons. Trump didn't give a shit. He did the same damn thing as Bush Sr. did. Actually, Bush Jr. did. Believed bullshit somewhere. And he was going to bomb the shit out of Iran. And he did. Says that Iran's willing to make a deal with him. Oh, it's getting messier and messier with this thing. I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore with this shit. Trump's being called left and right on it. Congress is calling him left and right on it. Trump's not listening. He doesn't want to listen. He's a billionaire. What the hell he's got? He's got Kirchner trying to make these damn deals and trade negotiations and trying to keep things quiet while getting more and more out of the Middle East countries. And he sees this one island. He and his wife see this one island, and they say ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. And they do this bullshit on television. They do this bullshit on television, on telling people. Actually, she does. She's trying to sell it. How nice it looks. How beautiful. How wonderful. Yeah, well, the poor country, Albania, I think, said this particular island is a protected country. No one's allowed to stay on it. This is an environmental and ecological habitat here. This you don't touch. They got animals. They got plants. They got things they want to preserve. And all the Kirchners want to say is, ka-ching, ka-ching, what can we make money off of this damn thing? Yeah, make it into a resort. 1,000-room resort, and you think you're going to be preserving everything? Give me a fucking break. Every time a man wants to do something like that in a pristine area, they usually start destroying the thing. And then they wonder how come it doesn't look like it was supposed to be in their imaginations or in their drawings. And they say it's a crater area, smoked out or dug out. And everything's gone. We pursue the wealth because we're greedy bastards. We want our egos fed in every which way. And we're willing to destroy resources but blame the other guy for it. Because we will never take responsibility, accountability, or transparency about the damn thing. The Albanians are fighting. They're fighting in the streets at this point over here. They're telling the Kirchners to get the fuck out and stay out. That wasn't bad enough. was the cream of the crop. And I was trying to say something a while ago about Hegseth going over to Normandy, June 6th, and he assaults everybody by his own stupidity. He blames immigrants for everything. He thinks that they're like Nazi invasion. Oh God, give me a break. These people, I swear. I can't figure them out for the life of me. I stay off the news because they are depressing the living crap out of me. We're closer and closer. We're getting to Flag Day. I keep thinking about getting a flag shirt just to celebrate Flag Day itself. But worse than that is we got July 4th. I still wanted to get something patriotic to show because I still believe in the country of the United States of America and what it used to be and what we're supposed to demonstrate. But right now, it's so damn screwed up. I can't even put myself into that situation where I'm throwing gaudy crap on my damn self and throw a gaudy shirt and say that I'm celebrating America. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, shoot me already. Just nuke us out of existence. Would we be better out dead or not? The billionaires want everything, and yet they're willing to destroy it to get their few precious bucks in their account, and I think that's going to keep them alive throughout the rest of time. You destroy limited resources that can't renew itself, can't replenish itself. What do you expect from our damn planet? It's going to be coming out, it's going to renew itself, and you think it's going to be done in your time? Give me a fucking break. It took millions of years to get the oil going on like crazy. It took millions and billions of years for our planet to get into an atmospheric situation where we're somewhat comfortable without screwing it up with our own damn industries. And we have, and now we're paying the price. We got extreme storms, we got extreme heat, we got extreme cold. Take your pick. We did this to ourselves, and we can't even admit it to ourselves. We take out the satellites, we take out the detectors in the water in the Caribbean and Atlantic that would detect a special current that flows through, that distributes, and keeps our planet equalized when it comes and stabilized when it comes down for its life support. And without this meridian current that flows through the Caribbean waters and into the Atlantic and does a circular pattern, I think, from England area and Northern Territories all the way south, probably gets to the midpoint, equator, starts oozing its way back to South America and shoots its way up. And somewhere in this current here, it's supposed to be keeping the heat regulated. This current is important to our planet. It's one of those important currents out there that's supposed to be stabilizing our planet. And we need constant data to keep checking this stuff out. And yet, the Trump regime, over the past couple of years, decided to ruin everything, including sending an asshole from South America with his asshole kids, I'll say that again, kids, screwing around with everybody, with every damn department, including the scientific departments. They're shutting things down left and right. You get Trump-looking yes man over here and say, well, we don't want science anymore. We just want to be stupid. We're killing ourselves. We don't have any proof. But we got extreme weather happening at this point over here, and the scientists are not quite sure if we reached a tipping point or not, if we're going to die or not. Because we have these idiots that don't know their ass from a hot rock, but we're supposed to listen to them because they're God-fearing. You take away your freedom of how to worship a religion. But the thing is, what they wanted is religion instilled in government. And like you morons. Look what happened to Russia. Actually, no, look what happened to Russia. Russia just was disavowed every damn religion they've got in there. They'll tolerate Christians. They'll barely tolerate Jewish. They still pound on people. And so does China. They don't like religion. They want you have to worship the state. North Korea's the same damn way. But no, I was trying to think about Iran, of how extremism of one particular religion has to be this way. Otherwise, here's a major skull thumping to the max. And we're doing the same damn thing when it comes time for Christianity. We're not pointing a gun, we're pointing the Bible at them and saying, you study this one. Now, Graham, I'll get Graham's first name right one of these here days. But he's not a politician. He's a son or grandson of one of the pastors I remember watching a long time ago. He was very conservative, ultra conservative actually. And he wants everything to follow Christianity. But he doesn't know what Christianity is. He'll say the same thing about the Bible. He goes after the Democrats left and right, saying the Democrats don't know their ass about hot rock, basically. About religion, about faith. They don't say anything about faith. No, they say about policies. That's what they say. So if I happen to find out what this asshole's name again is, I'm going to pop it into the notes. I can't stand people shoving shit down people's throats and expect you to follow it, because if not, they're going to be awfully mad. Well, let them be mad. Bring it on, assholes. I don't need to follow your shit. I got my own stuff to go through, and you don't like it, fuck you. So I have to keep telling them. Stop fucking around with our damn government system. Stop putting religion into the thing, because it wasn't made for it. The First Amendment, which they keep fucking forgetting, except for convenience, separates religion from the state. The state's not supposed to officially recognize it. Already, we got the Trump regime breaking everything he can. Breaks the Bible rules. I mean, there were things that Christ said in the Sermon on the Mount that was supposed to be what Christians could try doing. Loving each other without hating each other. Do good. He's going to smack you upside the face. Here's the other side of the cheek. Smack that side there. Does that make you feel good? I mean, he was doing some good points. What matters. But those who keep claiming that they follow Christianity, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I've been dealing with the Reverend. He's from Episcopalian. I don't care if he's Episcopalian or not. He's got one way of looking at it, and I like it. That doesn't mean I'm going to convert from Methodism to Episcopalian. No, I'm still a Methodist, damn it. I'm sticking with my own damn guidelines I learned a long time ago, and I've stuck with it. Served me well, great, for right now. And yes, I don't like jumping on people's ass. I don't like beating them up left and right because I think. No. Always has to